most of your third-party claims are going to be governed by a 2-year statute of limitations, and that means that you've got to get your lawsuit on file and the third party served within 2 years of the date of your injury.
How do you know if you have a third-party claim if you're injured on the job? Well, that's what we're going to ask the lawyer on today's episode. Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com, and my guest is attorney Justin Smith with the Sloan firm in Longview, Texas. Justin, thank you for making some time to help us out today.
My pleasure.
So let's talk about, what is a third-party claim? Someone's injured on the job and maybe they have a third-party claim. Tell us what that is.
So if you're injured on the job, a third-party claim is a claim against any other person or entity that is not your employer or an employee of your employer. So it's any other person that might have been involved in or might have negligence for your injury on the job site other than those.
Give me like an example of how that could possibly be.
So, for example, let's say that you're an employee and you work in a warehouse, and that warehouse contracts with a third party to bring in forklifts. They bring in a forklift is defective, you get injured as a result of it. Your claim against the company that provided the forklift, or potentially the manufacturer of the forklift, those would be what would be classified as third-party claims in the employment context.
All right, that makes more sense. Now, of course, I'm going to use workers' comp to take my injuries and that sort of thing taken care of. Does a third-party claim affect that at all?
It does not. And you got two different things that are going on, and it depends on what state you're in. So in the state of Texas, Texas is one of the few states in the country that allows an employer to opt out of even providing workers' compensation insurance to their employee. So the first step is to determine, do you have workers' compensation, or do you have an equivalent workplace injury benefit program that could provide compensation for your injuries? And then the second step is to find out, is there any third-party claim or third-party liability? Those third-party claims don't affect your workers' comp claim or a claim under a workplace injury benefit plan, but there are subrogation interests that can come into play on the back end of your third-party claim, where the comp carrier or the ERISA plan they get to be paid back for what they paid out on your behalf, subject to certain limitations by the statutes.
And are there time limits? Is there an order where things have to be done? When can I file a third-party claim?
Your third-party claims are going to be governed by the statute of limitations for your state. So here in Texas, most of your third-party claims are going to be governed by a 2-year statute of limitations, and that means that you've got to get your lawsuit on file and the third party served within 2 years of the date of your injury. That can change based on the state you're in or based on what kind of claim, but it's always going to be governed by that statute of limitations.
So if I hire an attorney to help me with my workers' comp, can they also help me with the third-party claim, or is that two different things?
They are two different things. They're two different things. When you hire a lawyer to work for or to prosecute a workers' compensation claim, a lot of those guys are specialized now, and all they do is comp. And so typically you'll have a lawyer for comp and you'll have a lawyer for your third-party liability claims. And then there's always the issue, because if you have workers' compensation, a lot of people even here in Texas think they do, when in point of fact they don't. If you have workers' compensation, you can't sue your employer for your injury. They're comp barred. The statute doesn't allow you to sue them because your recovery is comp. But if they've opted out of comp, and if they've gotten a workplace injury benefit plan or nothing at all, then the comp statute allows you to not only sue them, but they lose their statutory defenses to your claim. So the lawyer who would be prosecuting the third-party claims will also be looking and seeing if there's a claim against the employer for failure to provide a safe workplace under the law.
So if I'm injured on the job, Justin, and I'm not sure if I have a third-party claim, or I think I do, what's your advice? What are some steps I should take? Help me out there.
So what I would do is I would go talk to a lawyer who kind of works on personal injury, on employment claims, on the job injuries, and who also prosecutes those third-party claims. I mean, there's always kind of an investigation that has to take place to determine who all is involved in your injury and if there are any third-party claims out there. And, those third-party claims, every situation is different. I gave an example of working in a warehouse and somebody delivers a forklift, but I mean, people work all different kinds of jobs, and there's all different kinds of interplays between the jobs they do and contractors who come in, delivery folks, all that kind of stuff. And so, you talk to a lawyer, and the lawyer's going to do an investigation of those claims, figure out who all is involved, and determine if there's third-party liability there.
What is the cost to talk to an attorney and find out if I even have a claim, and that investigation you're talking about? Do I need to be prepared to for some money to come out of pocket right up front?
It depends on the lawyer that you talk to. But, for example, we don't charge consultation fees. So talking to a lawyer who does personal injury work generally doesn't cost you a dime.
So it wouldn't be a bad idea to at least get some opinion if you think, even if you're not sure if you have a case.
No, call costs you generally nothing.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate you taking some time to answer our questions and helping us out.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been attorney Justin Smith of Texas. If you want more information or you want to choose a lawyer that lawyers choose, make sure to go to askthelawyer.com. Also, please take a sec to like, share, and subscribe by clicking below. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com.